Hello, this is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. So I'm recording this and it's dark outside, which means I've got up really early to record this. Well, really, I'm up early because my dog said, I want to go out. I want to go out at 5 a.m. in the morning. So that's what I do every morning. Sometimes I make it back into my office to record this really early, and sometimes I say, forget it, I'm going back to bed, or I'm going to sit down and look at content for my podcasts. Well, I don't know. I've talked to you before about this on my other podcast that is on iHeartRadio and other stations like that. I've talked about how I've been trying to find a used car that is affordable and that is in good running condition and that has semi-good mileage on it. So I have found a few cars that meet my criteria, but when you go to financing it, it adds so much more money onto the loan that right now, and by the way, used cars are going up in price again. I know, I've been following this every day, and when I go to like Car Guru or Carvana or places like that, I see a red line through the price and it's gone up. I haven't seen any going down yet. So I tell you, it's been a hassle trying to look for a car, and I want to get a car because I have traveling that I want to do. I may have to look at an alternative source on how to buy a car. Maybe it's going to be bartering. I have some artwork I might be able to trade. So, all these things go through your mind when you're trying to purchase a car. I looked at the numbers today. The average car loan interest rate currently, 9%. Auto loan annual percentage rates, or APRs, are the most common rates you will see advertised on the auto loans, and it's expensive, 9%. 9%. And if you're looking for a used car, now that's just for new cars. If you're looking for a used car, you're going to be up 11.8%, all the way up to 20%, depending on where your credit score falls into. And so you're looking at buying a new car, and it's tough. It's really tough out there because I don't want to add another 9,000 onto my credit or 3,000 onto my credit. If it's 9%, it's going to be expensive. If it's 11% or up to 18%, it's expensive. Just depends on who you're dealing with. Let me tell you how it breaks down in FICO score rating. Okay, if your credit score, I'm looking down, okay, because I'm reading. So sorry if I appear that I'm not paying attention to you, but I really am. If your credit score ranges between 781 to 850, for a new car loan, you can get about 5.07%. Used car loan is 7.09%. If your credit score is between 661 and 780, for a new car, you're going to pay about 644. Used car, 9.06. If your credit score is 601 to 660, 8.99% to 13.49%. If your credit score is between 501 to 600, for a new car, it's going to cost you 11.72%, and on a used car, 18.49%. If your credit score is 300 to 500, for a new car, it's going to be 14.18%. On a used car loan, it's going to be 21.38%. Now, what's the problem with that? A lot of individuals have used up their credit cards that have been late on their obligations. So their credit scores in a good portion of the United States, their credit scores are down. So they are having to pay these higher interest rates. And the other issue is that so many have gone into default on these very expensive cars. Now that they have to go out and buy a new car, they are going to have to pay through the nose in order to get in order to get a car of any kind. So it's tough out there. Now, if you go to various states, and I'm going to put the link to this Market Watch on auto loans down below in the description of this email. I'm not email, in the description of this podcast. California and Colorado and District of Columbia, they all have different rates based upon the economic environment of those states. Now, 9% as of today, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So all of these car companies out there are not selling their cars. And if you go to the lots, they're full up. If you go to the auction places, they're filled up because they've been repoed, a lot of repos in the auction houses now. But to finance these cars, it's an arm and a leg. It's very expensive. So I'm looking out then, and I keep seeing the prices of used cars go up again. I need a car badly. So what am I to do that makes economic and financial sense to me? So I'm going to have to wait just a little bit to see exactly what I can do. Maybe I will have to go to a bartering system and do some trade artwork for a new car, or something else. You have to be creative now in order to get a car that you can drive and that you can trust, and that it makes good economic sense. 9% doesn't make good sense. Going up to 18% doesn't make good sense. And some are even charging up to 20%. So the inventory on used cars probably won't be filled up, because you have to look at the leases also. Many people have leased their motor vehicles out, but at the end of the lease, because of the car auto market at the moment, they're just buying out their lease. They are not trading the car in. So if people are leasing today, normally they trade in 3 years, but if they decide, I'm not going to trade in, I'm going to keep my car, I'm going to pay for it, then the used car inventory will not be as plentiful as we think it's going to be. And now when you lease a car also, some of these leasing companies out there are saying, sorry, you're not going to be able to buy out your lease. You're going to have to get a new vehicle. So they're getting tricky now. So you have to watch for that also. Make sure that if you're leasing a car, that you are able to buy it out at the end of the lease, because the value of that car may be up there and the leasing companies know it. So we have a very sticky situation where individuals like me who are out there looking are making good financial choices, saying, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay 9% interest, especially on a used car with almost 100,000 miles on it. Just not going to do it. And so Americans are putting their purchases of cars on hold. I'm not going to go out and purchase a new car because they just don't make economic sense. I cannot imagine paying $40,000 for a Toyota small car. I can't imagine anybody who would go out and buy an F-150 for $90,000 or up to $100,000. That is really bad financial decision making to go into that type of debt on a car. Now, a lot of you will say, well, my car is an asset. No, it's not. It's a liability. You have a loan against it, so it's a liability. And at any time, something could happen in the economy or with your job or with your business that would say, okay, you can no longer afford to pay for that $100,000 car, a $100,000 pickup. So for me, as I am still looking at this, I'm looking at, are there other viable options out there that I can use to purchase a car without going into so much high debt? That's the only thing that's on my mind at the moment. What can I do differently to find a car, fund it, or trade straight across so that I'm able to get a vehicle that I can travel in and do my stuff? My poor car, I've had for several years now. I have gone across the United States 4 times, and it has about 103,000 miles on it, but I'm hearing sounds in it now because it's old. It's an old car. It was a rental car when I bought it. So there were those issues out there that we're going to have to look at as we all have to make that decision to replace our cars at some point in time. What are the other options available out there? Well, that's it for today. I'm just moaning and groaning, having my coffee, thinking about a car that I need to get, but I can't afford. Life sucks, I tell you. Well, it really doesn't suck. You know what? There are other options out there that you can try and see if you can do something in order to bypass the financing rigmarole that's out there in the auto market at the moment. 9% to 20% interest on a car just doesn't make good financial sense. And I think that's why the automobile industry is going to be even in more trouble, because now with the union strikes, that means, and I've always told you this before, that the highest number on a financial statement is wages, salaries and wages. Once those go up, and once the UAW forces the wages to go up, that means that the price of that car is going to go up significantly. And that is a problem for me as a consumer. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. If you would like to send me a question, send it to thebusinessadvisor@gmail.com. If you would like to sit down and talk to me about personal finance or business issues, you can sit down with me confidentially, and you can book me, you can schedule me online at www.lodge-co.com. By the way, the link to that is right there. Talk with you soon. Bye-bye.